The massive hall on Nexus Prime buzzed with the voices of hundreds of alien beings. Representatives from across the galaxy had gathered for the most important meeting in decades. Ambassador Lee Tae-ho sat quietly in the back row where all the smaller species were placed. His simple black suit looked plain next to the colorful robes and armor of the powerful alien delegates. High Chancellor Vextar stood at the center of the hall. His tall gray body gleamed under the bright lights. Forearms moved as he spoke, showing his anger. "The human problem has gone on too long," he said in his deep voice. "These primitive beings dare to claim valuable mining worlds that belong to the Council." Lee Tae-ho kept his face calm, but inside he was watching every detail. He had been Earth's ambassador for 10 years. The aliens always treated him like he was stupid, speaking slowly and using simple words. They thought humans were just smart animals who had gotten lucky with space travel. "Look at their pathetic fleet," laughed Commander Thaxer from the warrior species. He pointed at the hologram showing Earth's military ships. 200 old ships that barely work in deep space. My grandson's training squadron could destroy them all. The other aliens made sounds of agreement. Captain Park So-jin, who sat next to Lee Tae-ho as Earth's military representative, said nothing. She was a small woman with short black hair and calm eyes. The aliens had dismissed her the moment she walked in, thinking she was just a minor officer. Admiral Krixtal of the Hegemony Navy stood up. His blue skin had dark stripes that showed his high rank. "The Council has been patient with humanity for 50 years. We let them keep their little colonies and trade routes, but now they want the Kepler mining system. That system has rare metals we need for our ships. The mining rights were given to us legally," Lee Tae-ho said, standing slowly. "Our teams found those asteroids first. The Council's own laws say we can claim them." Vextar's four eyes glowed red with anger. "Your laws? Human, you forget your place. You are guests in our galaxy. Guess who should be grateful we let them stay?" "We are members of the Galactic Council," Lee Tae-ho replied calmly. "Small members, yes, but still members with rights." "Rights?" Thaxer laughed so hard his spines rattled. "Rights come with power. Human. And what power do you have? Your biggest ship couldn't fight one of our patrol boats." The hall filled with alien laughter. Species after species made jokes about human weakness. They talked about Earth's toy soldiers and pretend navy. Some even suggested that humans should stick to farming and let real species handle space warfare. Lee Tae-ho listened to it all with a small smile. Next to him, Captain Park So-jin checked her wrist device, as if she was bored. The aliens didn't. Notice that she was actually recording everything they said. "Enough games," Vextar said, raising all four arms for silence. "The Council has decided. Humanity has 72 standard hours to give up all claims to the Kepler system. You will also pay a fine of 1 million credits for wasting our time." "And if we refuse?" Lee Tae-ho asked. Admiral Krixtal smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Then we will come to your solar system and take what we want. Your Earth fleet will try to stop us and we will crush them like insects. After that, humanity will learn to obey." 2,000 ships against your 200, Commander Thaxer added. "It will be over in hours. We might even let some of you live if you surrender quickly." The alien delegates cheered and stamped their feet. They were excited about the coming battle. Many species had wanted to put humans in their place for years. This would be the perfect chance. Lee Tae-ho looked around the hall slowly. His dark eyes met the gaze of dozens of alien leaders. They all looked so confident, so sure of their victory. 72 hours, he repeated. "Yes," Vextar said. "Use that time wisely, human. Say goodbye to your families. Prepare your surrender, because when we come, we will not be gentle." Captain Park So-jin stood up and smoothed her uniform. "We understand the Council's position," she said in perfect galactic standard. Her voice was so calm it made some aliens uncomfortable. "We will report back to Earth immediately." "Good," Admiral Krixtal said. "I hope your leaders are smarter than you two. Fighting us would be suicide." As Lee Tae-ho and Park So-jin walked toward the exit, alien delegates continued to mock them. Some made comments about humans being cowards who would run away. Others bet on how fast the human fleet would break apart. "Ambassador," called a voice behind them. They turned to see Counselor Murdoch of the neutral zone species. Unlike the others, he looked worried. "Perhaps there is still time for negotiation. War benefits no one." Lee Taeho shook his head sadly. "The Council has made its choice, Counselor. Now we must make ours." Outside the Great Hall, Park So-jin and Lee Taeho walked to their small transport ship. The vehicle looked old and slow compared to the sleek alien craft around it. Other passengers stared at them with pity or amusement. Once they were inside their ship and the doors were closed, Park So-jin's calm mask slipped for just a moment. She grinned. 72 hours, she said. How generous of them. Lee Taeho chuckled as he started the engines. "I almost felt sorry for them in there. They have no idea what's coming." "Should we warn them?" Park So-jin asked, but she was still grinning. "The Council has had 50 years to learn about humanity," Lee Taeho replied. "They chose to see only what they wanted to see. Now they'll learn the truth." As their transport left Nexus Prime heading back toward the edge of Council space, Lee Taeho sent a coded message to Earth. It was just 3 words. "The dragon wakes." Behind them, the alien leaders were already planning their victory celebration. They had no idea that in 72 hours, everything they thought they knew about humanity would change forever. The greatest military secret in galactic history was about to be revealed, and the balance of power would never be the same. Deep inside Luna Base, hidden beneath the moon's surface, Admiral Kim Do-hyun read the message from Ambassador Lee Taeho. The underground command center was huge, with hundreds of screens showing data from across the solar system. Officers worked quietly at their stations, monitoring sensors and communications that the aliens knew nothing about. 72 hours, Admiral Kim said to Fleet Commander Choi Min-ae, who stood beside him. "Just like we predicted." Choi Min-ae nodded. She was a tall woman with gray streaks in her black hair, earned from 30 years of military service. "The Council really thinks we only have 200 ships. They've been watching our fleet for decades and never suspected." Kim Do-hyun smiled grimly. He was an older man whose family had served in space for 3 generations. His grandfather had been one of the first humans to meet aliens back when Earth really was weak and primitive. Let them keep thinking that. It's taken us 100 years to prepare for this moment. The truth was something no alien suspected. Those 200 ships the Council knew about were real, but they were just Earth's diplomatic fleet, old ships built to look weak and outdated. Meanwhile, hidden in the asteroid belt beyond Neptune, humanity had been building the largest secret navy in galactic history. Dr. Yoon Jae-sung entered the command center, carrying a data pad filled with technical reports. He was the head of Project Sleeping Dragon, the most classified program in human history. "Admiral, all systems are ready. The fleet reports full combat readiness." "How many ships do we have now?" Kim Do-hyun asked. 10,437 combat vessels, Yoon Jae-sung replied, plus support ships, carriers, and mobile bases, all equipped with full stealth technology. Choi Min-ae shook her head in amazement, even though she knew the numbers. "The aliens think we're primitive, but we've been studying their technology for 50 years. Every piece of equipment they sold us, every alliance ship that visited Earth, every captured weapon from border conflicts. We learned from all of it." The secret had started small. When humans first joined the Galactic Council, they quickly realized they were considered the weakest species. Other races treated them like children or pets. But humans had learned something important during their long history of war on Earth. Sometimes it was better to appear weak while you prepared to be strong. "Show me the fleet status," Admiral Kim ordered. The main screen changed to show a map of the outer solar system. At first it looked empty except for normal asteroids and space debris. Then Dr. Yoon touched his control pad and thousands of blue dots appeared. Each dot was a human warship hidden by advanced stealth technology. "The aliens have no idea we can do this," Yoon explained. "Their sensors can't detect our ships when they're running silent. We've been moving vessels into position." For months, Kim Do-hyun studied the display. The hidden fleet was spread throughout the solar system in perfect ambush positions. Fast attack ships hid near Jupiter's moons. Heavy cruisers waited in the asteroid belt. Massive battleships lurked beyond Pluto, ready to jump in when needed. What, about weapons? Choi Min-ae asked. That's the best part, Yoon replied, his eyes bright with excitement. We didn't just copy alien technology, we improved it. Human creativity combined with alien science has produced weapons the Council has never seen. He called up weapon test videos on the screen. Beam weapons that could cut through any known shield. Missiles that could track targets through hyperspace. Defensive systems that made human ships nearly impossible to hit. The aliens think they know everything about warfare, Kim Do-hyun said. But they've been fighting the same way for thousands of years. They use the same tactics, the same formations, the same strategies. Humans learn to fight differently. Lieutenant Commander Seo Hyun-woo entered the command center. He was young but already one of Earth's best tactical officers. Admiral, message from Captain Lim Yu-jin on the Seoul's Pride. The diplomatic fleet is moving into position near Jupiter. They're ready to play their part. Good, Kim replied. And our people on Nexus Prime? Captain Park So-jin and Ambassador Lee Tae-ho are safely away from Council space. The aliens are already moving their fleet toward Earth. Admiral Krixtal is commanding personally. Choi Min-ae laughed. Krixtal always was arrogant. He probably thinks this will be an easy victory to add to his record. Let him think that, Kim said. The harder they attack, the more surprised they'll be. Dr. Yoon pulled up another display showing Earth's industrial capacity. Sir, I should mention that the Council has no idea about our real production abilities, either. They think we're still building ships in those small orbital yards they can see. They don't know about the automated factories in the Kuiper Belt. The Kuiper Belt factories were another secret. Huge automated construction platforms that could build warships faster than any alien shipyard. Powered by fusion reactors and supplied by asteroid mining operations, they had been working for decades without any alien noticing. How fast can we replace losses? Kim asked. We can build ships faster than any Council species can destroy them, Yoon replied. But honestly, Admiral, I don't think we'll lose many ships. Our technology advantage is too great. Kim Do-hyun nodded, but his expression stayed serious. Never underestimate an enemy, even when you have superior weapons. The aliens have been fighting space wars longer than humans have existed. They might have surprises too. Yes, sir, Yoon said. But our analysis shows their tactics haven't changed in centuries. They rely on overwhelming numbers and direct assault. Very predictable. Choi Min-ae checked her watch. 68 hours until the deadline. How long before the Council fleet reaches Earth? At their current speed, about 60 hours, Seo Hyun-woo reported. They're not trying to hide their approach. Admiral Krixtal wants us to see them coming and be afraid. Instead, it gives us time to finalize our positions. Kim said, Signal all fleet commanders. Operation Rising Sun begins in 60 hours. Until then, maintain complete stealth. No ship is to reveal itself under any circumstances. What about the diplomatic fleet? Choi asked. They'll do their job, Kim replied. Captain Lim and her people will make it look like we're desperately trying to defend Earth with our primitive ships. The longer we can keep the aliens confident, the better our ambush will work. Dr. Yoon smiled as he gathered his data pads. The Council is about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon isn't our ships or our technology. It's our ability to make people underestimate us. As the meeting ended, Admiral Kim Do-hyun stood alone for a moment, looking at the display of hidden ships. For 50 years, humanity had played the role of the weak, grateful species. They had been laughed at, dismissed, and treated like children by the powerful alien races. In 60 hours, that would all change forever. The galaxy was about to discover what humans could really do when they stopped pretending to be harmless. The Council Warfleet approached Earth's solar system like a storm of metal and energy. 2,000 ships moved in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming in the light of distant stars. Admiral Krixtal stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion, watching the tactical display with satisfaction. Human ships detected, reported his sensor officer. 200 vessels, exactly as expected. They're moving to intercept us near Jupiter. Krixtal's blue-striped face showed amusement. Only 200? I was hoping they might have found a few more ships somewhere. This will be over too quickly. Commander Thaxer, who had joined the fleet for the entertainment, laughed loudly. Look at their formation, Admiral. They're trying to create a defensive line. Do they really think they can stop us? The human fleet was indeed moving into position near Jupiter's orbit. Their ships looked old and worn compared to the sleek council vessels. The formation they were taking was textbook defensive strategy, the kind taught in basic military academies across the galaxy. Captain Lim Yu-jin stood on the bridge of the Soul's Pride, watching the approaching alien armada on her screens. Her ship was one of Earth's diplomatic fleet, deliberately built to look outdated and weak, but she was far from the frightened commander the aliens expected to face. All ships, maintain formation, she ordered calmly. Remember, we need to look desperate but determined. Don't make it too easy for them. Lieutenant Nam Jin-ho, her communications officer, reported incoming signals. Admiral Crixtall is demanding our surrender, Captain. Standard terms, complete submission and occupation of Earth. Open a channel, Lim replied. Let's give them what they expect to hear. The main screen flickered to life, showing Admiral Crixtall's imposing figure. Behind him, Lim could see the bridge of a massive dreadnought, filled with advanced alien technology and weapons systems. Human Captain, Crixtall said in his deep voice. I am Admiral Crixtall of the Hegemony Navy. You are outgunned and outnumbered 10-1. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick. Lim straightened her uniform and tried to look brave despite hopeless odds. Admiral, we cannot surrender Earth's freedom. We will defend our home system. Foolish. Thaxer interrupted, appearing on screen beside Crixtall. Your primitive weapons cannot even scratch our shields. Why throw away lives for nothing? Because it's our duty, Lim replied simply. We may not win, but we won't run away. Crixtall actually looked impressed for a moment. Brave words from a doomed species. Very well, human. You have chosen honor over sense. We will give you the warrior's death you seem to want. The communication ended, and Lim allowed herself a small smile. The aliens were so focused on their overwhelming advantage that they weren't paying attention to anything else. Perfect. Signal Admiral Kim, she ordered quietly. Tell him the fish are taking the bait. Deep in the asteroid belt, invisible to all sensors, 10,000 human warships waited in perfect silence. Advanced stealth technology kept them hidden from the most sensitive alien detection systems. They had been moving into position for weeks, using careful timing and coordination that the aliens never suspected humans could achieve. Admiral Kim Do-hyun received Lim's message in his hidden command ship, the Incheon's Fury. Around him, the most advanced combat information center ever built by humanity tracked every movement of both fleets. All ships report ready, Admiral, Fleet Commander Choi Min-ae said. The ambush is set. Kim watched the tactical display showing the Council fleet's approach. They were coming in fast and confident, exactly as human strategists had predicted. Let them get close. The more committed they are to the attack, the harder it will be for them to escape. Back near Jupiter, the two fleets were now close enough to see each other clearly. The Council ships spread into attack formation, their weapons charging with deadly energy. The human diplomatic fleet held its position, looking brave but hopelessly outmatched. Human ships are powering weapons, reported Crixtall's tactical officer. Defensive grid appears to be their best available technology. Ancient plasma cannons and missile systems, Thaxer observed with contempt. My people stopped using weapons like that centuries ago. What the aliens didn't know was that the human diplomatic fleet was equipped with exactly the level of technology they expected to see. These ships really were limited to older weapons and defenses. It was all part of the deception that had taken decades to perfect. Begin the attack, Admiral Crixtall ordered. Target their flagship first. Let's end their commander's resistance quickly. The Council fleet opened fire with devastating force. Energy beams and advanced missiles streaked across space toward the human defensive line. The Soul's Pride rocked under impact as alien weapons struck its shields. Captain Lim gripped her command chair as her ship shuddered. Damage report. Forward shields down to 60%, her engineer called out. Hull breach on deck 7. We're venting atmosphere. Return fire, Lim ordered. All ships, engage at will. The human diplomatic fleet fought back with everything they had. Plasma bolts and nuclear missiles flew toward the Council ships, but most were absorbed by superior alien shields. A few lucky hits scored damage, but it was clear the humans were losing badly. Look at them struggle. Thaxer laughed as he watched human ships take hits. Brave little warriors fighting against impossible odds. Admiral Crickstall was more focused on tactics. Concentrate fire on their heavy cruisers. Once we destroy their main combat units, the rest will break. What he didn't notice was that the human fleet was retreating in a very specific pattern. They weren't just running away randomly. They were drawing the Council ships deeper into the solar system, toward Jupiter's gravity well. Captain Lim's ship was taking heavy damage, but she kept fighting. Her crew worked desperately to keep weapons and shields running while alarms blared throughout the ship. Captain, we can't take much more of this, her first officer warned. Our shields are failing. Hold position, Lim ordered. A few more minutes, that's all we need. The Council fleet pressed their attack harder, sensing victory. More human ships were taking critical damage. Some were already drifting dead in space. It looked like the battle would be over soon. Admiral, Crickstall's communications officer, called out. We're receiving a transmission from the human flagship. Put it through, Crickstall said, expecting to hear a surrender. Captain Lim appeared on screen again, but this time she wasn't trying to look desperate. Instead, she was smiling. Admiral Crickstall, thank you for coming exactly where we wanted you. Crickstall frowned. What are you talking about, human? I'm talking about the fact that you've just flown your entire fleet into the greatest ambush in galactic history, Lim replied calmly. Before Crickstall could respond, she added 4 words that would change everything. Admiral Kim, you may begin. Suddenly, space around the Council fleet lit up with new energy signatures. Sensors that had shown empty space moments before now detected massive power sources appearing everywhere. The aliens watched in shock as thousands of ships materialized, out of nowhere surrounding them completely. The trap was sprung. The real battle was about to begin. The universe seemed to explode with light and energy as over 10,000 human warships decloaked simultaneously. Admiral Crickstall stared at his tactical display in complete shock, unable to believe what his sensors were showing him. This is impossible, he whispered. Where did they all come from? His sensor officer's voice shook with fear. Admiral, I'm reading massive energy signatures from all directions. Ships are appearing everywhere. Above us, below us, all around us. We're completely surrounded. Commander Thaxer's confident laughter had died completely. He watched the display, showing red enemy contacts appearing faster than the computer could count them. These can't be human ships. Humans don't have this kind of technology. But they were human ships, and they were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Sleek, deadly vessels that seemed to bend light around their hulls. Their weapon signatures were completely unknown, showing power levels that shouldn't have been possible with known alien technology. Admiral Kim Do-hyun stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Incheon's Fury, watching the Council fleet's confusion with cold satisfaction. All ships, this is Admiral Kim. Begin Operation Rising Sun. Show them what humanity really looks like when we stop pretending. The human fleet attacked with precision that made the aliens' coordinated assault look clumsy. Every ship knew exactly where to be and when to fire. Their weapons struck with impossible accuracy, finding weak points in alien shields that should have been undetectable. Lieutenant Commander Seo Hyun-woo commanded the stealth destroyer Busan Lightning, one of the newest ships in the human fleet. His vessel appeared directly behind Admiral Crickstall's flagship, weapons already locked onto critical systems. Target the enemy flagship's main weapons, SEO ordered. Let's show them how human precision works. The Busan Lightning fired a concentrated beam weapon that cut through the Eternal Dominion's rear shields like they weren't there. The beam sliced through armor plating and destroyed 3 main weapon batteries in a single shot. Crickstall's ship shuddered under the impact. Impossible, Crickstall shouted. Our shields should stop any known weapon. His tactical officer was frantically checking readings. Admiral, That weapon signature doesn't match anything in our database. The energy frequency is completely unknown. All around the battlefield, similar scenes were playing out. Human ships were systematically destroying Council, vessels with weapons that seemed to ignore alien defenses, energy beams that changed frequency mid-flight to penetrate shields, missiles that could track targets even when they tried to escape into hyperspace. Captain Park So-jin revealed her true identity as she took command of the assault carrier, New Seoul. She was not the minor military attaché the aliens had dismissed, but one of Earth's most experienced fleet commanders. "Launch all fighters," she ordered. "Show them what our pilots can really do." Thousands of small human fighters poured from hidden launch bays, moving with speed and agility that made alien pilots look like beginners. These weren't the clumsy attack craft the Council expected from a primitive species. They were advanced interceptors with stealth capability and weapons that could disable much larger ships. Dr. Yoon Jae-sung monitored the battle from his command ship, watching his years of secret research prove its worth. Every weapon system, every defensive technology, every tactical advantage humanity had developed was being tested in real combat. "Energy output is optimal," he reported to Admiral Kim. "All weapon systems performing above projected efficiency. The aliens' shields can't adapt fast enough to our frequency shifting." "What about their response?" Kim asked. "Confused and uncoordinated," Yoon replied. "They're trying to use standard tactics against technology they don't understand. It's not working." The Council fleet was indeed struggling. Admiral Krixtal tried to rally his forces, but his communications were being jammed by human electronic warfare systems he didn't know existed. "All ships form defensive positions," he ordered. "Concentrate fire on the nearest enemy vessels." But when his ships tried to target the human fleet, their weapons couldn't get a solid lock. The human ships seemed to phase in and out of sensor range, appearing just long enough to fire devastating attacks before vanishing again. Commander Thaxer's ship, the Warbringer, found itself facing 3 human cruisers at once. His weapons officer fired everything they had, but the human ship simply absorbed the damage and kept fighting. "Their armor is impossible," the weapons officer reported. "Our plasma cannons should have destroyed them by now." "Then use heavier weapons," Thaxer screamed. "Fire the quantum torpedoes." The Warbringer launched its most powerful weapons, antimatter warheads that could destroy entire space stations. But the human ships didn't even try to dodge. Instead, they activated defense systems that created energy fields around their hulls. The quantum torpedoes exploded against these fields and simply disappeared. Their energy absorbed and redirected harmlessly into space. The human ships continued their attack as if nothing had happened. "This is not possible," Thaxer whispered. "No species in the galaxy has defensive technology this advanced." Back on Nexus Prime, High Chancellor Vextar was receiving reports from the battle that made no sense. His forearms shook with rage and fear as he read the tactical updates. "What do you mean they have 10,000 ships, King?" he demanded. "Our intelligence clearly showed they only had 200 vessels." His aide, a nervous creature with multiple eyes, trembled as he spoke. "Chancellor, the reports are confirmed. Human fleet strength appears to be 50 times larger than we estimated. Their technology is also far more advanced than our analysis suggested." "This is impossible," Vextar shouted. "We have been monitoring human space for decades. Where were these ships hiding?" The aide had no answer. No one in the Council had imagined that humanity might be capable of such massive deception. For 50 years, they had seen exactly what humans wanted them to see: a small, primitive fleet, struggling to maintain basic space travel. Meanwhile, the battle continued to go badly for the Council fleet. Human ships were systematically destroying or disabling alien vessels with minimal losses. Their tactics were unlike anything the galaxy had seen: fluid, adaptive, and devastatingly effective. Captain Lim Yu-jin, her diplomatic fleet ship badly damaged but still fighting, watched as the human main fleet demonstrated their true power. "All damaged ships withdraw to safe distance," she ordered her remaining vessels. "Let the real Navy finish this." Admiral Krixtal realized his fleet was losing badly. In just 2 hours, he had lost over half his ships. The remaining vessels were scattered and demoralized, fighting against an enemy they couldn't understand or effectively damage. "Admiral," his communications officer called out desperately. "We're receiving surrender requests from 17 of our ships. They're taking critical damage and can't continue fighting." Krixtal looked at his tactical display in despair. Red symbols showed destroyed council ships scattered throughout the solar system. Green symbols representing human vessels outnumbered his remaining forces by more than 20 to 1. "Open a channel to the human fleet," he ordered quietly. "Signal our surrender." "Admiral?" his tactical officer asked in shock. "We're surrendering to humans?" "We're surrendering to whoever these people really are," Krixtal replied grimly. "Because they're clearly not the primitive species we thought we were fighting." The message went out across the battlefield. The Council fleet was requesting terms of surrender. After centuries of galactic dominance, the great alien powers had been defeated by the species they had dismissed as harmless children. Admiral Kim Do-hyun received the surrender request and allowed himself a small smile. The first phase of Operation A, Rising Sun, was complete. Now humanity would show the galaxy what the second phase looked like. 6 hours after the battle began, the Council fleet was completely defeated. Hundreds of alien ships drifted in space, either destroyed or disabled by human weapons. The survivors had surrendered unconditionally, something that had never happened, to a major galactic power in recorded history. Admiral Krixtal sat in the detention area of the human command ship Incheon's Fury, still unable to believe what had happened. His blue-striped face showed confusion and defeat as he tried to understand how his overwhelming advantage had turned into total disaster. Commander Thaxer was in the cell next to him, his warrior pride completely broken. "This makes no sense," he kept muttering. "Humans are supposed to be primitive, they're supposed to be weak." The door to the detention area opened, and a human officer entered. It was Captain Park So-jin, but she was no longer wearing the simple uniform of a military attaché. Her new uniform showed the rank insignia of a fleet admiral, one of the highest positions in human space forces. "Gentlemen," she said politely, "I hope you're comfortable. I wanted to speak with you before we arrive at our destination." Krixtal looked up at her with weary eyes. "You're not really Captain Park, are you?" "I am Captain Park," she replied. "But I'm also Fleet Admiral Park So-jin, 3rd Fleet Commander of the Human Defense Force. The rank you saw was part of my cover identity." "Cover identity?" Thaxer asked. "You've been lying to the Council for years?" Park smiled slightly. "We've been telling you exactly what you wanted to hear. You expected humans to be weak and primitive, so that's what we showed you. You never asked the right questions." She activated a portable hologram projector, showing images of human technology that neither alien had ever seen. Advanced shipyards hidden in asteroid fields. Weapons testing facilities that could destroy moons. Industrial complexes that could build fleets faster than any known civilization. "This is impossible," Krixtal whispered. "We monitored your space for decades. We saw your industrial capacity, your military production, your technology level. You saw our civilian infrastructure," Park corrected. "You saw the shipyards we wanted you to see, building the ships we wanted you to know about. Everything else was classified beyond your highest security clearance." The hologram showed more images. Human ships that could travel faster than any alien vessel, weapons that could penetrate any known defense, stealth technology that made entire fleets invisible. "To the best sensors in the galaxy." "How long?" Thaxer asked quietly. "How long have you been preparing for this?" 112 years, Park replied. "Ever since we first encountered galactic civilization and realized we were considered a joke. We decided it was better to be underestimated than to be seen as a threat too early." The ship shuddered slightly as it changed course. Through the small window, the aliens could see they were approaching a massive structure hidden in the asteroid belt. It was clearly artificial but larger than any space station either of them had ever seen. "What is that?" Krixtal asked. "Luna Base was our original headquarters," Park explained. "But we outgrew it years ago. This is Titan Station, our primary military command center. It's where you'll be meeting with our real leadership." Chief Engineer Bae Soo-min entered the detention area, carrying a datapad with technical specifications. She was a middle-aged woman with kind eyes, but her uniform showed she was one of humanity's top weapons designers. "Admiral Park," she said. "They're ready for the tour." "Tour?" Thaxter asked suspiciously. "We thought you might like to understand exactly what happened to your fleet," Park replied. "Engineer Bay will explain our technology. Consider it a professional courtesy from one military to another." Bay activated her data pad, showing detailed breakdowns of human weapons and defenses. "Your ships were equipped with standard Council technology, plasma weapons, quantum shields, fusion power systems. All very reliable, but also very predictable." She showed them recordings from the battle, highlighting specific moments where human weapons had easily defeated alien defenses. "Our beam weapons don't use fixed frequencies like yours do," she explained. "They shift frequency thousands of times per second, cycling through the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Your shields couldn't adapt fast enough to stop them." "But that's impossible," Crixtal protested. "The power requirements alone would overload any known energy system." "Any known alien energy system," Bay corrected. "Humans developed zero-point energy extraction 30 years ago. Our ships have essentially unlimited power." The hologram showed the interior of a human reactor room. The technology was clearly far beyond anything the Council possessed, using principles of physics that alien science had never discovered. "Your defensive systems confused us too," Thaxter admitted reluctantly. "Our heaviest weapons couldn't even damage your ships." "Adaptive armor," Bay explained proudly. "The hull material changes its molecular structure based on incoming attacks. Plasma weapons make it heat-resistant. Kinetic weapons make it harder. Energy weapons make it reflective." She showed them test footage of human ships absorbing attacks that should have destroyed them, the armor visibly changing color and texture as it adapted to different threats. "But how did you hide all this?" Crixtal asked. "We have the best intelligence services in the galaxy. How did we miss something this big?" Park and Bay exchanged amused looks. "Because you never looked for it," Park said. "You were so convinced that humans were primitive that you never investigated beyond the surface. Every time our technology seemed too advanced, you found excuses to explain it away. Besides," Bay added, "humans are very good at keeping secrets. We've had thousands of years of practice at hiding things from enemies who thought they were smarter than us." The ship docked with Titan Station, and the aliens were escorted through corridors filled with human technology that seemed like magic compared to Council science. They passed laboratories where scientists worked on projects that would revolutionize space warfare, factories that could build ships in days instead of months, and command centers that coordinated activities across dozens of star systems. "This is just one facility," Park mentioned casually. "We have others hidden throughout human space. Some are even larger than this one." They were brought to a massive observation deck overlooking the main hangar bay. Thousands of human warships were docked there, representing just a fraction of the total fleet. Each ship was clearly more advanced than anything in the Council's navy. "My God," Crixtal whispered. "How many ships do you really have?" "Enough," Park replied simply. "More than enough to defend human space. More than enough to project power anywhere in the galaxy if we choose to." Dr. Yoon Jae-sung joined them on the observation deck, carrying reports from the battle analysis. "The test results exceeded all expectations," he told Park. "Our weapons performed 30% better than projected. Enemy resistance was minimal." "Doctor," Park said, "meet Admiral Crixtal and Commander Thaxter." They were wondering how we managed to surprise them so completely. Yoon bowed politely to the alien officers. "Gentlemen, it's quite simple. You made the classic mistake of fighting the last war instead of the next one. Your tactics haven't changed in centuries because you never had to change them." "But humans have only been in space for 50 years, Thaxter protested. "Yes," Yoon agreed. "And in those 50 years, we've been forced to innovate constantly just to survive. We couldn't rely on superior numbers or established territory like you could. We had to be smarter, faster, and more creative." He showed them tactical analyses of the battle, highlighting how human ships had moved and fought in ways that alien commanders couldn't predict or counter. "Your ships fight like your captains think," Yoon explained. "Very orderly, very traditional, Very predictable. Human ships fight like humans think. Chaotic, adaptive, and full of surprises. Admiral Kim Do-hyun finally appeared, flanked by an honor guard of human marines. The aliens recognized him immediately as the commander who had orchestrated their defeat. "Admiral Crixtal," Kim said formally. "Commander Thaxter, I trust you're beginning to understand what happened today." "You humiliated us," Crixtal said quietly. "You made us look like fools in front of the entire galaxy." "No," Kim replied seriously. "You did that to yourselves. We simply stopped hiding what we really are." He gestured toward the hangar full of warships. "This is what humanity looks like when we're not pretending to be harmless. The question now is what happens next." "What do you mean?" Thaxter asked. "I mean," Kim said, "that the balance of power in the galaxy just changed forever, and everyone is going to have to figure out how to deal with that reality."